In today's vlog, I want to share with you a story that my wife and I told on a recent episode of our podcast called Family from the Heart. Which, by the way, we have this podcast we do every week. You can find it at familyfromtheheart.com, where we give you a behind-the-scenes look into what goes on in the lives of the Ravenscrafts, which, by the way, we're a family who has given up on the ordinary to pursue the lives for which we were created.
On Sunday, Matthew had his first paid consulting call with a coaching client of yours. And so he got paid for an hour of his time, which actually they finished in 45 minutes, but he still got paid for the hour. And he says, after it's over, he comes and he tells me, he's like, I really like that. That was a really good time. And, you know, he found what I had to say valuable. And I'm really excited about what he's doing. And he explained it to me and how he understood that it would work. So later on in the evening, we were in the car and he's like, you know, I still want to get a job because I want to work and I want to make some money, but I'm ready to start my own business. And I know that takes time. You don't make money overnight. So that's why I still want to get a job.
Pretty awesome, isn't it?
It is. And people tell us we're doing it wrong.
So can I tell this whole story behind this?
Mhm.
Because I think it's so super exciting. I remember when I left my career in insurance and I left the family business and I'm working for myself as a consultant and coach, doing what I love for a living. I remember just being freaked out, charging somebody $50 for an hour on the phone. You know, it's like I'm sitting here talking with somebody on the phone. They've got a couple questions. I answer all the questions. Plus, I give them a ton of insight, a lot of inspiration. They are more motivated and inspired after talking with me. And for me, I just had the most invigorating conversation of my life. I feel like this was so much fun. I felt like I should be paying them $50 an hour because I got so much out of it. And the fact that I'm charging them, and of course, $50 an hour seemed like a lot of money at the time. And the reason why is because as an employee all those years, you know, I remember starting out at, I think I might have been 425 when I started at McDonald's at age 16 and just going up the ladder to where, you know, 20, $30 an hour. So charging $50 an hour seemed like a lot to me to be able to do something I love and the mindset shift that had to change there. But to think that my son is 15 years old and Matthew's greatest passion is gaming. This is one thing that I love about our parenting is that we are definitely supportive of his passion for gaming. He's well over 1,000. He might be close to 1,300, 1,400 hours devoted to the game Dota 2. And during the summer, he'd spend pretty much most every day, all day, playing Dota 2. I remember hearing, as I'm growing up, parents saying, gaming is destroying our kids. You know, they're in front of the screen. They're antisocial. Matthew is definitely not antisocial.
No, he's not.
And I don't see it warping or anything. In fact, he's in AP Physics right now and absolutely loving it.
It's his favorite class.
AP Physics is his favorite class.
Something wrong with that kid, I know.
So, you know, I'm absolutely thrilled, and I love that we support his desire and his love and passion for gaming. Mm-hmm. Not to mention the fact that there are people out there that are competing worldwide for this.
He watches them.
And he watches them. And like it's millions of dollars in the prize pool. Not that I'm suggesting that one day he's going to be one of those guys that's competing and has sponsors but
that would be his dream. It hasn't become his must. But that would be his dream.
Has he said that to you that's his dream? That
he wants to be a professional gamer? Yes.
Okay, because he has. I've been trying to ask him questions that would lead him towards that path, and he's like, "Well, it's just real tough because finding the right team and stuff like that." And I'm like, "Well, where do you need to go?" You know,
right.
It's like whenever he's watching these, I say, "Matthew, where are these being broadcasted from?" Because I would like to actually take him
to one
to where they're broadcasting this from. There's like seemingly thousands of people there. I would love to take him there so that he can start being in that environment. That's how supportive we have been of his gaming, right? And the other thing is I've been also trying to talk him into this idea of creating his own business. I said, why don't you teach people? We could set up a site where you could have paid tutorials where you teach people, beginners, how to play Dota 2. Mm-hmm. And he's like, but Dad, there's already people out there that do that. It's like, yeah. I said, there are already people out there when I started teaching people how to podcast. Yeah, but there's all this stuff and it's available for free. I said, Matthew, go to YouTube and search for how to podcast. There are thousands of tutorials on how to podcast for free. I make a living. It's like, and so
you eat, don't you?
it's starting to sink in. It's like, and so then I was on my mentoring call with one of my clients. He's in Stockholm, Sweden, and he's telling me one of the things that he's working on is that he wants to create a web application to help gamers, because he's an avid gamer as well.
Okay.
And but it's just a passion side hobby for him. But he says, I'm an avid gamer, and one of the things that we always run into is trying to get all of us to sync up, because we all have busy lives and busy schedules. You know, you reach out to, it's like, oh man, I just got off an 8-hour binge session of
Right.
playing. I won't have time again until next time. And you got all these different people. But what if you could have a web application? And he says, your son's a gamer, right? And the reason he knows that is because he's listened to Matthew's gaming podcast.
Really? From when he was a little
when he was a little tiny kid, and it was called Gaming with Matt. And he says, your son's a gamer, right? And I'm like, yeah. He goes, do you think he'd be interested in talking with me? I'd like to hire him for an hour of consulting. And I'm like, I think he might be interested in that. And the thing is, I did not want to play the middleman. I said, let me give you his email address. And so he did. And the two of them worked it out.
Yeah, they did.
Matthew scheduled it with him, and they worked out. I was not involved in any negotiation of pricing or whatsoever. I was in California, and Matthew's like, how do I send an invoice? I said, do you have a PayPal account? And he goes, yeah. And so I said, go into PayPal, and I walked him through, and so he said he's sending an invoice for $100. I'm like, congratulations, dude.
Right.
My first consulting / coaching client I charged was $50 an hour. For an hour, and Matthew's
and you were 33,
and I was 33.
Yeah.
Matthew's 15, and he's getting his first paid consulting client with a client in Stockholm, Sweden, paying him for an hour at $100 to do what he loves, to have a conversation that he would do for free. And I'm like, man, do I love what this might mean for inside of Matthew's heart. And I was getting ready to board my plane, and Matthew's like, hey, Dad, he FaceTimed me. And he's like, Dad, I'm getting ready for my call. I just wanted to call you. I'm kind of excited. I'm a little nervous. I cleaned up my room because
he did. He made his bed and cleaned his room. Anything that could be seen behind him from his camera.
Yeah, because he's going to do a video Skype call. And so he's like, Dad, look, I made my bed. I just fixed my hair. You know, it's like, I'm really excited about this. This is cool. And so I told him
he wore a plaid flannel.
Plaid flannel.
Which, to anyone who's only hearing the audio, I'm looking at my husband currently wearing a plaid flannel. Actually, yours isn't flannel, but he came in. He's like, because he took a nap first, and he gets up, he takes a shower, he fixes his hair and everything. He comes in, he goes, "How do I look, Mom? Except my shorts. I know they don't match, but he's only gonna see me from here up." And it was. It was the coolest thing.
For me, what was so awesome was how serious he was taking this.
He really did.
I mean, that for me, this wasn't just like, I'm talking to my dad's friend, and blah blah blah. But he literally took this as a business opportunity. That he really viewed it that way, and he took it very seriously, very professionally. And I was so excited to see the attitude and mindset that he had going into it. Then, of course, I come back from California, and we've had plenty of time working out in the mornings, talking about this experience. And there's a couple things that I was like, Matthew, the one thing I want you to understand, it took me a long time to understand this myself, but if you can get this through your head right now, I want you to understand this. You did not get paid $100 for an hour of your time. You got paid $100 to have direct one-on-one access to all of your years of experience playing video games. You got paid $100 for access to your experience of scheduling and working out when people are going to get on. All of those things that you've done related to gaming. It wasn't an hour of your time. It's all of the hours you've put into this thing that you love. And that's why he's like, but Dad, here's the thing. I only talked to him for 45 minutes. He got everything he needed, and I still got the 100. And so that's why I said, Matthew, there have been times where somebody's paid me $500 for an hour, because I do $500 per hour, minimum of 1 hour. And we got on the phone, and they got everything they needed in 5 minutes. and the call was over. And then I told him this story. Have you ever heard this story? And I definitely need to look the story up because I butcher it. I make it like crazier every single time. But there's this company that makes millions of dollars a month, in revenue for their production facility. And one of the machines that is necessary to produce their product was broken, and nobody could figure out. I mean, they've had every maintenance guy in the plant look at it. They couldn't figure it out. They tried to get on the phone to the support company from the company who made this machine, and they're like, listen, that machine we don't support anymore. We don't even know it. But there's this one guy we believe that might be able to help you. So they contact this guy. He's like, okay, I'll fly out and I can fix it for you. It's going to be $180,000. And they're like, okay, come on out. So for them, when they're making millions, it's worth $180,000 to them to have this thing up and running again, right?
Right.
So the guy flies in the very next day, and he walks in and looks at the machine, puts his ear against it, hears something inside of it, and says, okay, I need a hammer. So they go get him a hammer, takes that hammer, pings it on there, thing comes right back to life. And he goes, I'll send you the invoice for $180,000.
Yeah.
And so the question is, wait a second, you're going to bill us $180,000 for hitting this thing with a hammer? He says, no, you're not paying $180,000 for me to hit this with a hammer. You're paying $180,000 because I knew where to hit it with a hammer.
Right.
And so to be able to tell those stories to Matthew and help him to start understanding the mindset of successful business and why and how you provide value to people, and it's not working hard and feeling stressed and you've exerted so much energy that's where all of a sudden that's how you get paid, because I still have some struggle with that.
Right.
I still feel like I need to work hard and wear myself out to earn money. And if I can get Matthew to understand that that's not how you get money in business by providing value. And providing value can actually come naturally to you.